There's nothing worse than having a white PC and a black GPU. Today we're surprising my friend with a complete rebuild, and I haven't told him yet, but I'm going to be painting his 5070. Painting your GPU is about 95% prep work, so the better you do in the prep, the better this is going to turn out. Another key component of this is making sure you get the right paint for the right part of the components. Some are metal and some are plastic, so you want to make sure you get the paint that matches whatever you're painting. Now when separating your GPU, be aware that there are RGB cables and other fan cables, and you want to make sure that you don't just pull this apart because you can break some cabling, and that's going to be a bigger issue. So once you break it apart, just start separating the fan cables and getting the components that you want to paint. Make sure to take all the thermal pads and thermal putty and put them in their respective places, so when you get back, you know exactly where they go. If the GPU is brand new and you still have the stickers on it, this is super helpful because some of those things you're not going to be painting, and you can use that as part of your prep work. For instance, some of the MSI logos and the Dragon itself, I'm not painting, so I'm going to leave the original stickers on there. That way I can do less prep work. The next step, and one of the most important ones after you have everything separated, is you're going to sand all the components that you're painting. This is going to rough up the surface and make sure that the paint has something to grab onto. Once you get done sanding the entire thing, you want to use isopropyl alcohol and clean this off. You don't want any of that dust on there because the paint will attach to the dust and you'll have zero adhesion for the actual paint. We're going to throw this in the paint tent so we have a nice base coat. After each layer, make sure you give enough time for it to dry, and then we'll just do layer after layer, sand any imperfections, and then we can get this done. We're using my old tent that I used to actually bleach really expensive sneakers with, so we're just going to use that, put the lights on, get a little extra heat on there. Now it's the next morning, so we're just sanding off any of the imperfections, which you can get with any kind of rattle can. We want to make this look super nice for the customer, so we're sanding all this down, and then we should be ready to blow it off and do the final layer of paint. We ended up not taking the stickers that came on the GPU, so we can outline the Dragon, and we can still keep that MSI touch, and then everything else will be painted white. Another important step is waiting for it to dry. Don't rush this because you got to put it together, and you don't want it to be tacky or chipping, so make sure you wait for this thing to dry completely. So to my absolute surprise, this thing turned out great by using the original stickers that came on the GPU. That was definitely a bonus for not having to do extra work, and it came out better than I probably would have got it. Now it's time to put this thing back together. Hopefully it's a lot easier than life, because if not, I am absolutely f***ed. If you're going to try this yourself, some notes here is definitely be delicate during this process because you can easily chip or hit paint with the screwdriver. Thankfully, most of the stuff's internal and you wouldn't see those scratches anyways. Overall, I think it did turn out quite well. There's some here and there issues, but nothing crazy. My friend's totally stoked, and I think the build is going to look absolutely flawless with this newly painted GPU. After we color matched his GPU, it was time to replace all the parts in the new Evolve case. This is the Phanteks Evolve 2, and we slapped on the new Phanteks AIO. Now, when installing the GPU, I noticed that I did not have any white 12-volt high powers, but I did have an old Lian Li strimmer cable. So I used this to cover up the 12-volt high power splitter and zip tied this together so it looked super clean and you'd not see the splitter. My friend's a male nurse, so this little fucker is going to get a sweet build and he'll have it delivered by tomorrow. Tell me what you guys think.